Hey, what's up guys? My name is Eric Bates, co-founder of Barcode Circus Company, and today I'm going to be telling you about the auditions at the National Circus School of Montreal. If other people are watching this that did do the auditions, whether you got in or not, if you're a professional circus artist now or if you followed a different path, please comment below, let some other people know what your experience was like, and see if you can help them out so that they can go in there feeling as confident as possible. What was your number one tip for getting into circus school? Or what did you wish you had done better so that you felt more prepared next time? Okay, I'm gonna dive in and talk about the whole audition process, but before I do, I wanna give you a quick bird's eye view of what to expect at the Montreal auditions. As you can see on the page, it's a 4-day audition process. What does that mean? First day, they're gonna go through the basics. It's gonna be jeu, dance, flex, muscu, and acro, and then they cut half the people. Okay, so 200 people down to 100. So the first day is extremely important. If you don't prepare well for the first day, then it doesn't matter how good you are at kendama or at tissue or at whatever you do, because they're not gonna see it, because they want well-rounded people that have prepared to be well-rounded circus artists. So first day, absolutely critical that you have prepared and you can go in with confidence knowing that you've got your basics solid. Second day, you're gonna talk to the judges. They're gonna do an interview. So that's basically all the teachers at school line up in a long desk. It's very intimidating, and you're alone in a room and you're gonna talk to all of them, and they're gonna ask you questions. They're gonna ask you, why do you wanna come here? What do you wanna do in the circus? What do you like about the circus? Are you financially ready to go to the circus school? Is this a financial commitment as well? Do you speak French? Could you learn French? Those sorts of things. And then you show your 3-minute number, and I'll tell you all about that, and that is its own thing that I'll talk about later in the video. And then they cut half the people again. All right, so 200 down to 100 down to 50. At this point, there's still 2 days left in the audition. They're gonna do dance and jeu again. You're probably gonna have a class with your specific instructor so that they can meet you and really feel one-on-one how you learn and what your style is and if they like you. But you can breathe a little bit easier because they're not making any more cuts until the final cut, which is done by mail a few weeks or a month later. I don't remember exactly. So that's the bird's eye view. And now let's go back to the computer and I'll show you step by step all of the elements that they are gonna ask of you, the basics that they require as a minimum for what they're looking for. Let's dive in. Acro, 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 acro. All right, National Circus School of Montreal, acrobatics audition. What sort of crazy stuff are they gonna make me do, right? Right, let's check it out. Forward roll, backward roll, cartwheel. All right, this is not the Olympics. They are looking for people that can do basic exercises cleanly so that they can take that solid foundation and build a majestic acrobatic house on top of it, okay? And the thing is, to be honest, of those 200 people that are at the audition in Montreal, there are people that have no business being there. They just haven't done this sort of work. They don't have a lot of experience, and maybe they think it's a novelty or a thing that anyone can do, and they don't know that you have to put the time in to get these basics solid. If you don't know how to do a forward or backward roll or a clean cartwheel, it says a lot about how far they might be able to take you. This is not a basic preparatory program, it's the college level going to professional level for the circus arts. Forward roll, backward roll, cartwheels, front handspring, handstand, front roll, half roll, back roll, handstand, strooly. Strooly? What the heck is a strooly? A strooly is a back extension roll. So you do a backward roll, but you push up into a handstand. That's all that is. Forward and back handsprings, forward and back somersault. That means forward and back tuck. So a standing back tuck, punch front tuck, round off back handspring, and a movement without hands. What is this? So this could be an aerial, it could be a side flip. I did a cartwheel side flip toothpick. But you can do whatever you want. You can kind of show off your movement research and maybe a butterfly, maybe an aerial, whatever cool move you have that you think you can impress the judges with and show off a little bit of your own flavor. Wait, I almost forgot. If you haven't mastered the cartwheel, don't do the cartwheel. Okay, this isn't the X Games. They don't want to see you hucking a fat bee. They want to see stuff that you can do cleanly to show and ensure to them that you're going to be safe to train with throughout the 3 years, and then you can have a long, prosperous career after that. They want to see people that know how to train safely so that they can build on existing steps to take you up to here. Because if you get hurt down here because you were trying to jump ahead, well, you won't get to here. Basically, all of the stuff in the acrobatics section you can learn by going to a gymnastics gym or an adult open gym or somewhere where people can teach you how to do basic gymnastic skills. Moving on. Physical conditioning. Physical conditioning, it says right here what they're gonna test, okay? They're gonna test leg lifts to the bar. I did 4, and my juggling coach was watching, so extra pressure didn't help. More training would help. More stretching would help. You do push-ups, pull-ups, I think it says either type of grip on the website. Jumping in place, that's just to make sure you're not an elephant. Just tuck jumps in place. And rope climbing. I didn't have to do a rope climb, but 10 years later, advanced technology, you know? Pretty basic, 4 exercises. If you start now, you train for 8 months, you are in good shape for this. You can obviously do things like especially work your pike, that's gonna help for leg lifts to the bar, but pretty much just do the exercises they tell you to do and do them with good form because that also counts, and you should be looking pretty, looking good. Flexibility. They're gonna be testing all the stuff they show here. So pike stretch, splits on both sides, middle split, back flexibility, sitting in a pike position with your hands up here, and they look at you from the side to show your shoulder flexibility. A bridge. I think the thing to say about flexibility is that as a juggler, I did touch both splits, but not my middle split. But if you're a contortionist, they're gonna have a different requirement for flexibility as a juggler or as a straps artist, and the same for conditioning, the same goes for everything. Some circus disciplines require different physical attributes than other, and they obviously will take those into consideration, but they want everyone to have a good base level. And then if you're looking to be a handstand artist, for example, they might expect you to have more shoulder flexibility or already better flexibility in general, because it's quote unquote more important to the discipline. So take that into mind when you're figuring out just where you think you should be. But also, why not be as good as you can? You're just gonna spend 3 years trying to make it even better. So start now. One thing I would recommend if you're not naturally flexible, like this guy, is something called PNF stretching. I think if done safely, that can really help, and it's basically using resistance to help your flexibility. So for example, after I was warm, after I did my acrobatics 3 days a week, I would stretch for half an hour, and I would do stuff like I would do the splits, I would warm up all of the different stretches for your legs, and then do the splits, and then I would take my hands off, and I would push as hard as I could, as if I was trying to stand up using just my legs, and then relax again for another 30 seconds. And so that really tires out the muscles and allows them to go deeper. So if you look up PNF stretching, proprio-nucleo PNF stretching. What is PNF stretching? Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Stretching. That might help you out. Or there's plenty of people that you can talk to online that I'm sure are giving stretching classes, especially now. I'm teaching cigar boxes right now online, and it's great. You can write someone and say, will you help me? Oh, one other thing to mention, I know a lot of the other circus schools around the world have already said they're gonna be doing their auditions for next year online this year. So that's something to take into consideration. I don't know if that will happen with ENC. They haven't mentioned anything yet, but if you're applying to other schools, that might be the case, and it might happen with ENC as well. But I imagine the skills will still be pretty similar. Okay, dance. Dance. What happens in the dance section of the audition? Well, sometimes a dance teacher leads it, or sometimes some of the third years get asked to do it, and they basically just teach a dance class. So you're gonna have to do some passes across the floor, they're gonna teach you a choreography that you're gonna have to learn, ballet or some sort of jazz or modern, but they're gonna change every year. It's gonna be different depending on who's teaching it or what they feel like teaching. But the basic idea is you're gonna learn a choreography, and you're gonna have to repeat it, and you're gonna have to do it in small groups or moving across the floor, and you're gonna try to look like you know what you're doing even if you have no idea. In the dance audition, they might have you do a pass across the floor, kind of an improv pass, so, you know, go dance, have fun dancing. The dance class is done to a live drummer, so seeing if you can stay on rhythm, if you have a sense of musicality. So maybe practice doing some exercises to a beat before you go. Take at least one dance class in your life. If you want to be a professional circus artist, you don't need to do it in school. You can check that out on your own. Take a dance class and you're going to learn new ways to move. You're going to get used to some of the terminology you might hear in the audition or just in general in your life as a professional circus artist. And so it's really going to help you because you're going to know what an inside turn or an outside turn or a pas de bourrée is, or a kick ball change or whatever. So when they say it, you're like, nice, I already know that. I don't have to learn it on the fly here. I can just integrate it directly into the choreography they're teaching. So you don't need to study up all of these things. I think I'd been part of one hip hop choreography on stage at college, which was by no means professional. It was my friend asked me to do it, and it was for a good cause. Anything you can do that'll get you learning one or two movements, and then you won't be freaking out because you'll just be having fun. You're taking a dance class and trying to nail it in front of the judges, or at least look like you think you nailed it. Because none of the judges know what the choreography is. I mean, they'll maybe see if you didn't do it exactly right, but they want to see that you've got some flair, some pizzazz, charisma, Zumba. Not Zumba. Not Zumba. Pizzazz. They want to see that you know how to perform, even if it's something you're not comfortable with. That you take it and you make it yours. And that's all I have to say about dance. Okay, the jeu section, or the acting section, is basically improv type stuff. They're going to ask the entire group to do some stuff, maybe movement based, maybe moving around the space and pretending to be a bird or a worm or whatever weird stuff they ask you to do. And you just have fun with it. After that, they might have individual exercises, so having everyone in a line, coming forward one at a time and showing whatever funny thing they ask you to do, like be a rapper or be an old lady that stubbed her toe or whatever. And you just play and you just keep going and getting crazier and crazier and just letting it rip until they stop you. That is the key. Just have fun. You are there to give it your all. And that is what people are hoping to see on stage. Is people that are just emotionally invested in taking risks. And it doesn't have to be funny, you don't have to be goofy, it has to be true to you and committed. So just lose yourself in it, have a good time, let yourself be silly or be crazy or be sad or be happy or whatever it is they're asking for 2 minutes. Because it's so rewarding to get to go to those places. And that's one of the best things about our job is that we can go to these places that some people are scared of in normal life and they don't get to go to if they're a banker or if they're a lawyer or whatever. So take advantage of that, if only for the duration of this short thing, and hopefully you'll get to play with that for the rest of your life. One memory that I have of the jeu section was that we were all in a line and they asked each person to come forward one by one and they would give each person a different sort of improv to do. So be a rapper, be a priest, be a table salesman, whatever, doesn't really matter. And they asked one girl to be an opera singer, and she stepped forward and she said, la. And then she stepped back in line. And they said, is that it? And she nodded. And you could just see them getting out the red pen. You know, I don't know what she thought Circus was going to be, or what the circus school was going to be, but clearly she wasn't okay with that part of it. And I think you got to be okay with that part of it. That part of circus and acting and this whole career is asking you to go to uncomfortable places in front of other people. But also be reassured that there are people that are going to be like that. And if you are willing to go for it, and if you're watching this video, I assume you're one of those people, then you should be in a good spot already. Because you know how to play and you know how to have fun, and to lose that weight of self-consciousness that we carry around all the time in society. Getting deep. So that gets you through the first day. 5 things. And you can prepare pretty well for most of them beforehand. And that is what is the most important. Because if you don't make it through that, you don't get to show them why you're special. You don't get to show them your kendama or your tissue or your award-winning bubblegum Rubik's Cube, whatever. Okay? You gotta make it through the first day.
Just finished day 1 of auditions, and unfortunately I got cut. on the first day.
Garth Neily did a really nice, candid, humble vlog about his auditioning. It's worth checking that out. He gave some more great information about the audition itself and how that experience was for him and how well he felt he prepared versus what happened at the audition. And so I'll put that link down below. Check that out. These are things that you can do. You can start now and you can do them all 3 days a week. Work on those basics, and then you'll be in such a good place to show off the thing that you've been working the hardest at consistently, which is your specialty. And that's day 2. All right, day 2. You're gonna have an interview with the judges. You walk into the room and you've got 20 judges. Every coach at the school is at a long table in front of you and they ask you questions and you stand alone in the middle of the room and you try to answer them and try to not feel like it's weird. And the judges are actually the teachers at the school. So that's good to know because these are people that want you to succeed. They want cool people in the school. So they're gonna ask you questions. They asked me about why I wanted to come to school, what I liked about my discipline, how I felt about learning French, if I had any experience speaking French, why do you want to do circus with your life? Why do you want to do this specific discipline with your life? What's interesting about this discipline to you? And what do you want to do with it in the 3 years you'll be spending doing? Those are good questions to know whether or not someone asks them of you. You should think about that already. And then you'll have an idea of where to begin if those questions do come to you in the interview. If you get in but your partner doesn't, how will you react to that? Or what if we say we think you'd be better suited for another discipline? Would you still be interested in coming? So in this interview, I'd say just beforehand, put a little bit of thought into why you want to do this career. Tell them what you love about it, because you're basically doing the 3 years, but then you're hoping it's going to turn into a career that's going to last for a decade or more, based on how long your body lasts, how much you love it, all that sort of thing. But you're committing to wanting to do it for a while. So hopefully you've put some thought into it and into your specific discipline and why you're passionate about it. And this is an opportunity to show that passion and show all those ideas of what you want to do and how you want to make circus different and make your impact on the world through this art form. And then you get to do your act. And so how do you prepare for your act? It says 3 minutes. Don't do more than 3 minutes. They don't want to see more than 3 minutes. You graduate with 5 minutes. Just make a killer 2.5 to 3 minute act. I mean, that is a gift. Just put your best stuff in there. Hit them with the good stuff. You know what's weird? They don't clap at the end. That's hard. You got a long line of judges. You do your act and then you walk out of the room. My main advice, and I've performed at Cirque du Demain and on television shows and for Cirque du Soleil and the Seven Fingers and Cirque Éloise and at giant fashion shows and football games and for the ENC auditions, it's all kind of the same. The more you can put this specific act on stage before you do it at the moment that it counts, the better off you're going to be. You're going to know more about yourself. You're going to have more confidence because you've been in those situations and maybe things have gone wrong in those situations and you've learned how to deal with them through experience. Just try to put this stuff on stage before the big event, before the main event. If you're auditioning as a partner acrobatics, so if you're doing hand-to-hand or Russian bar or something that requires more than one people, bring someone with you to do your audition, because the live point where you do your act is the best opportunity you have to show them why you're good at something. So it's important, even if this person isn't auditioning, that you have someone with you to do the audition. So that way you can really show them, yes, I'm capable of putting an act together, I have stage presence, I have worked on these tricks already, so I can show a base level of skills. Because if you show up and you say, I'm a great hand-to-hand porter, but I don't have a hand-to-hand flyer, it's going to be hard for them to evaluate you, and they might go with someone that's more of a sure bet in their eyes because they can see them work. They are people and they want to see a show. They're watching acts all day and they just want to see ones that light them up. So you do the interview, you do day 2, and then they cut half the people again. So 200 down to 100 down to 50. So if you've made it through that, you can breathe a sigh of relief because now the last time they cut will be by mail after the auditions, as long as you don't, light the foam pit on fire or something. So this is good. At this point, you've made it through there, you can relax a little bit, and you get to meet the coaches, maybe take a class with them so they can work with you one-on-one with your personality, see how you are, see how they are, see if you like it, see if they like it, see if everyone likes it, like. They might have you do some more dance, some more jeu, see how well you remember some of the earlier choreographies, see what other situations they can put you in that'll make you uncomfortable or fun or playful or whatever, and just keep having fun. Because the thing is, the people around you, those are going to be most of your classmates too, if you do get in. So start meeting them and making connections with them already, because you might be hanging out with them for the next 3 years and possibly a lot longer than that. And they're probably all good people if they're trying to audition for a circus school anyways. So, friends. Looking here now, dress code. Basically means they want to see your lines, so don't show up in like baggy sweatpants, maybe to warm up in, great idea. Bring a jacket because it is just cold as here in January. They want to see what your body looks like doing these things. So, wear appropriate gymnastic-y looking clothing. Don't go out and buy anything new. I did it in pajama pants, which is probably not recommended, nor was it flattering. Something that is close enough fitting that they can see what you're working with. I think it's also worth mentioning that I have a lot of good circus artist friends that didn't get into ENC, and they might have auditioned 2, 3, 4 years. And that's a reality. And I'll put some links into a couple of blogs and vlogs below about people that didn't get in, so you can think, what else would I want to do, or what does that side of the coin look like? Because they're only accepting 20 to 25 people a year, and so it's very likely that you might not be one of those people. And so it's worth thinking about what your alternate plan is if you don't get into circus school. Because it doesn't mean you're a bad circus artist, it might just mean the reality is they have only so many coaches in so many disciplines, and so they can't take 25 hoop artists. They just wouldn't have work for their coaches. So they might only take 1 or 2 a year. It might not be your fault, but it is your responsibility to try to be the very best hoop artist or juggler auditioning that year. And of course that's subjective. I don't want to say a caveat on every single thing, but the best juggler is clearly subjective. Okay, a few quick hacks, a few little tricks. When I was in high school, I actually designed my own PE physical education credit with Circus. So I got a gym credit for training for 1 hour every day in school, juggling and acrobatics. And honestly, I don't think that they knew that I was doing acrobatics, because that's probably not safe doing acrobatics alone. Check it out in your high school if that is available to you, or propose it to someone and maybe they'll say, yeah, sure, I'll sign off on that. No problem. Another thing, we didn't have a gymnastics team at my high school, but we did have a 7th grade girls gymnastics team. So there was gymnastics equipment lying around somewhere. And so after school, I just went and I asked, hey, can I train with you? And me and a friend went and we just trained after school while they were tumbling every day. And the coach was happy to help out, taught us a few things, and we had a lot of fun. So I think there's always something that you can find. Maybe it's not the best facility in the world or anything, but check out through your school, see if there's a local gymnastics club, see if there's a local circus something, start your own, any one of these things. Even if you don't find anything, the process of trying to start something or trying to find something will get you in touch with a lot of people that can help you and that will be interested in supporting you and seeing what they can do to help get you to Montreal. Maybe they'll teach you French on the side or something. When I was at McGill, we found out that the diving boards were open every Friday for 1 hour. So we would wear our swimsuits to class just before, and then we would literally run over to the pool and do a bunch of acrobatics into the pool. And then at night in the city, there was an open gym that adults could go to. So 3 times a week, I would go and I would train acrobatics, specifically the ones for the audition. And then afterwards, I would stretch when I was warm and do that P&F stretching I was talking about to help get my flex ready. Now, a little bit later in this video, I actually call up Alex Royer, my Russian bar flyer, to ask what her experience auditioning was like. And although we are drastically different types of circus artists, I'm a juggler, she's an aerial hoop artist, I'm a Russian bar porter, she's a flyer, we both agreed on one thing. And that is that more so than the dance, more so than the acrobatics or the jeu, the most important thing was to be yourself at the audition and to not try to be what you think they want to see, because they want to see original people. They're looking for the next new idea as much as anyone. And if you're trying to just do something that you think they want, it's not going to be what you're truly passionate about. It's going to be trying to fit into some box that might not even be a box that they actually want people to fit in. And also, it might mean that if they don't accept you for whatever reason, maybe ENC is not the place for you, and the cool thing about you might be better developed in another school altogether, or a completely different context than this circus school. So do yourself a favor and do all of the stuff that they ask for in the audition, but when it comes to the interview, when it comes to doing the act, when it comes to your free pass and acro and the improvs across the floor and dance, do the stuff that makes you happy, because that's what's gonna be the most flattering on your body and in your personality, and they're gonna see that. They're gonna see that you're comfortable and that you're confident and you're enjoying yourself, and that you can be a circus artist that's not afraid to do things in their own way, which is what we all wanna see with performers on stage anyways, is their original take on things. Hello?
Hey, can you hear me? It's not the best internet.
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Perfect. Okay, explain to me what you need.
So I am making a video about auditioning for ENC and my experience and what to expect, because people have asked me about it. And basically I wanted to say how I had figured out creative ways to train for the audition. And I remembered that you had done something like you had like half an hour to eat lunch as you took the bus from your high school to the circus school, something like that. But I thought it was inspiring, but I wasn't sure I was getting it exactly right. So I wanted to hear it from you.
So basically when we did the high school with Fred, Ellie and Jan, my best friend, and also like Bruno, Hugo from Fabric, and Ralph and Johan from National de Cirque, we all went to this high school in order to do the high school and circus. And we had 25 minutes for lunch, basically.
So you were doing normal high school, but you had circus for half the time.
We did normal circus, normal school in the morning, but in order to do circus the whole afternoon, they had to cut a fourth of the classes time. We were starting earlier than regular school and going to circus in the afternoon, and we had like basically 25 minutes to eat. But if you count the time you bring your homework to your locker and the time you get to the bus, you have like 18 minutes.
Pretty intense. And you also got a job offer from Cirque du Soleil that you turned down to do the circus school.
Yeah, basically at the circus school I met André and Nat Hébert, and I told them, look, I have a job already. Like, why would I come? They said, why would we take you in ENC? And I said, why would I come here? You tell me, why would I come here? And they all laughed. And basically, after Nat and André told me, well, if we will ask for them to take you in a Russian bar, because that's what you want to learn, and you already know to do hoop. And if they say yes, we'll put it on the letter of acceptation. And so because we were not allowed to communicate, or we cannot communicate. And then come if they say yes, basically. And they said, in my letter, I had a big envelope, and it was written, you're accepted in not generalists, but in two specialties, which is aerial hoop and Russian bar. And also, my mom didn't want me to go to Cirque du Soleil.
Why?
Because I was 16.
Because you were 16?
Yeah, and when you're Québécois or French, if you go to ENC, you get a degree.
You get a college degree?
Quite a bad degree. You get your deck,
Yeah.
So you have something after, and my mom was really attached to having any paper. So she said, like, oh, look, you will go. And actually, you know what? The weirdest thing that made me decide is that Bruno from Fabric already went to Cirque du Soleil. And he told me, don't go.
And that made you want to do circus school?
I needed to choose, and he said, don't go to Cirque du Soleil, go to ENC. And also my trampoline coach, which was Dominique Lacasse, which is the homme drapeau, like flag man. He said, do you want to do medium circus or do you want to be really good in what you're going to do in circus? And I said, oh, look, I want to be really good. I'm not really good already. And he said, no, you're medium. Go to ENC. I turned down the Cirque du Soleil job and I went to ENC. But because, so three things. My mom said, go to ENC because you're going to have a paper after you're done with it. So I did philosophy class, English, and French or whatever. And then Bruno said that Cirque du Soleil didn't care about the artists so much, and especially in hoop they were using motors and people got really bad injuries in the shoulder. So he said it's kind of like a slaughterhouse for people. And Dominique Lacoste said, look, you're not good yet. Go to school. Basically, he said, don't work now or you're just going to stay mediocre, kind of. But he was really rough. And teaching to people who did the trampoline at the national level. So. At international level, sorry. Olympic, yeah.
What sort of advice would you give to people that are auditioning?
From the people that were auditioning?
No, if you had to give advice to people that will audition in the future, what would you say?
I would say have fun, try to meet people, try to have fun is my biggest thing because I had so much fun, then it made me want to go to ENC. Don't be clean, don't be a prick about what you're doing, but don't be afraid of showing who you really are. Don't be afraid to have fun and don't be stressed too much. I remember there was a guy in our year auditioning. He was so good in Acro and he couldn't do the jury exercise because he wished so much to enter ENC that he was so stressed that he couldn't make a mistake and recognize he made a mistake, which is fine. You can make as many mistakes as you want. I would say the best is show your best self, but don't act like somebody else.
Yeah,
because
totally.
They're looking for originality. The potential, they will see it.
And how do you follow, they want you to do these specific skills. How do you follow the stuff that they want you to do, but also show your true personality?
One step. That's a really good question. It depends on how you are. I'm a very talkative person, so I spoke a lot with people. And I'm feeling good with that. So I think it's good to recognize what is your strength as an individual, as a person, and if it's hardworking, like Dom, for instance, or if it's being very intelligent and methodical. It's good to know, make maybe a list of your strengths because they asked me frontally that question, why would we take you besides somebody else? Which is, when you're 16, pretty intense, coming from 20 judges sitting in front of you, telling the world they're the best school in the world, and And then I went with humor, and I said, well, why would I come here? Is the question. And then they all laughed, and I said, no, but seriously, I think we can make good things together. They were like, oh my god, what a prick. But I was good enough technically, so they know it's a joke, and then I said, look, I want to work hard and I want to learn some things, and I think being authentic about who you really are is good because they will know if you will be able to make something out of your time at school. So, and if you're not, or if you're made to be going in another school, or if you should work right now, or if you should do clowning, or if you know, like they understand too.
Yeah, because I think I know some people that I thought were good circus artists and auditioned maybe 3 or 4 times and didn't get in.
Who?
I don't know, like.
But like, okay, didn't get in, or didn't get in, and that's a shame. But I think they were so stressed, and they were like trying to do what they think. They were trying to do what they think people want to see, which is a mistake.
I think that's great advice.
Ouais, ça, je dirais, genre, sois ton best self, mais genre, sois-le à 100%. C'est vraiment con puis facile à dire, puis aussi, fais pas les actes trop dangereux, genre. On s'en fout, là. Dis, genre, j'arrive pas, puis je vais arriver dans 2 semaines, là, si vous me donnez, genre, un bon prof. Comme, if you're coming from a circus school that doesn't have a good teacher, you say, look, I have capacity and I know how to work hard. I will be able to do it in 2 months if you... And I said, I'm the best. I just need to have classes. I'm going to be amazing. And they were like, whoa, really? You're great. Like, you're an saying this. And I said, no, I really think I can be good. I just need more teacher and experience. And I also spoke with people already. So I was like, look, I love the people that are going to be in my class. And I love the teacher and the people. The teacher who there said like, oh, yes, kind of, I can do it, and then it was funny.
Yeah.
So it's also like to speak to people when you're there, and to enjoy, and they see that you're having fun, they see that you're happy to be there, they see that it's a good moment for everybody to have you, and
Voilà quoi. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Yes, bye.
All right, I hope this video helped you prepare as best you can for the auditions, and I hope to see you on stage sometime, whether it's through ENC or down another path. I'm Eric Bates. See you down the road.